Hi Jingmoers. So a couple of tips that I've been sharing with Sihing Daniel in a class earlier this morning. I thought that would be useful for you, particularly those of you who are in a more advanced belt levels. And it's to do with Sarm Bo Gin. Sarm, 3 Bo step, Gin, arrow, 3-step arrow, Sarm Bo Gin. Now in your practice, I found that it's important to do the hand drill without any power. So you just do the shape of the drill. And I'm going to focus on 2 sections of the drill in this particular video. First one is chop sao, tai sao, weaving out, Tong jan, hun jan, chop sao, tai sao, dao sao. All right, so the first thing is all the way through this particular section of the drill, you must have a neutral wrist. So when you're doing chop sao, it's very easy to maintain a neutral wrist at this point. Elbows down. Notice how that my hands are at waist level and they're not parallel. They're actually wider than shoulder width apart. So the outside of my shoulders and the inside of my hands must be the measuring point. As I chop, I maintain the cham dan, so my elbows are constantly trying to point towards the floor. Just do it with me. Hands are out in front. Slowly open the palms and thrust out, maintaining sunken elbows. Then tai sao. I freeze my chest and my humerus, my upper arm. Nothing changes there. So my back remains open and all I do is bend the elbows. So as I bend the elbows, what happens is that my hands start to travel up. But when I finish, my arms are no smaller than 90 degrees. So the angle shouldn't be closed right up. I'm out in front. This is all dependent on your personal body proportions and so on. But just sink the elbows. It's about 135 degrees there between my forearm and my upper arm. Notice how my wrists haven't moved and my fists have formed the Ging Mo Kune, or the ginger fist, where the index finger and thumb have come together and then every knuckle thereafter slightly open. So the contact point is in here on the inside of the wrist. Now open the hands and I'm going to weave out and separate. As I do that, I also go forward slightly and then turn the hands over. Then hook the fingers back for ngap sao position and then start to hook backwards and drive the elbows towards my body. And I go past my body and then turn into backward elbow thrust, Tong jan. Hands on the chest, roll forward, yun jan. Open and unfold, back to chop sao. Close, tai sao. And now dao sao, there's some detail for you. As you scoop in, it's elbows leading first. So I think about my elbows taking over from my wrists and they start to lead in. My index finger and thumb start to clench first, then my 3rd digit, 4th digit, and as my fists come to vertical, I'm going to swap to 5th digit, 4th digit, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. So it's here and then change. Here. Again. Here, then change. Here. And very important, when you finish, notice how I have a neutral wrist here. This is the cocked wrist where my knuckles are pointing to the floor is the most common mistake I see in classes. This, in dao sao, must be neutral wrist. Arms parallel to the floor. And my arms, forearms want to be parallel to each other, so not fist in and elbows out, like so. So that's the first section. The next section is Fung Sao, Cham Pok, Biu Ji, Zhong Fung. reaching out. Feng Sao is at 45 degrees, like so. Closing the fingers at the end of the Feng Sao, and arms in front of the body. Always armpits remain open, so look out for the temptation of pulling your elbows in. Yep. Tam Pok, Bilji. And now from the Bilji position, I see a triangle. My arms are two sides of the triangle. And what I want to do is follow the line of the triangle and imagine that my elbows are striking my abdominal wall, but meeting, excuse me, meeting behind my spine. So that's the apex right here. This is where the apex is, okay? So as I do this, now, when I finish my Zhong Fuk, my hands, I bounce them off my abdominal wall and bring them out in front of me in the Dao Sao finishing position. So they're parallel, facing in front and parallel to the floor, okay? Now, the big win that Sing Daniel had earlier this morning, after practicing years of Zhong Fuk and not being able to do it, is that he noticed years ago that his pec muscles seem to get in the way. Now, do you have that problem? If you do, comment below, let me know. And we noticed this morning that as he was doing the Zhong Fuk, he was opening the chest like this, which meant that his elbows got nowhere near his abdominal wall. They're up here, and it felt like the pecs were jamming. So the one correction I made that you should look at yourself is to maintain the concave chest. So keep the chest down. Freeze your upper torso from your sternum up, so nothing changes there. But if I did this as well, my triceps will hit my body and I fail. Don't get to get my elbows into abdominal wall. So practice this. Practice this. You can do your, remember, daily practice doesn't have to look like it's a perfect class situation, an hour and a half dressed in uniform, nobody bothering you, and you get to train in the backyard or in your garage. No, daily practice actually is about revisiting the detail and helping your learning process through this sort of support. Picking one item, one particular detail in something that you are learning, and repeating it over and over again. Does it have to be like it is in class where, you know, you might be working up a sweat, etc., etc.? No, absolutely not. There's so much evidence out there to show that the neuro pathways keep developing even when we think and act out the actions of our exercise. So you can do that, right? So you might be walking down the hall and just do this, walking around. That's what I might do. Do that 10 times, that's it, done. Then move on for the rest of the day. Very good. Hope you found this video informational. I hope you found this video helpful. Informational, that's a new word. Is informational actually a word? Hope you found this video helpful. All right, that's it. I'm gonna get back to it. See you in the next video.